Hello YouTube, this is Time Itself with the game of Domination on Afghan. I've been wanting to commentate a game on Afghan for a while now, and this gameplay seemed like the best one to do the commentary over, so this isn't anything really specific to this game, it's just a decent one. I think you'll find it entertaining. That was just a quick noob shot. Occasionally get lucky and get a few people on B like that. But what I really want to talk about this game is playing defense in Domination. I think that as you get a better understanding of Domination, your concept of defense really changes a lot, to the point that straight up defense really isn't something that I find very useful. But in this game I'm playing about as defensively as I think I would ever really want to play. And I just lost a gunfight because I can't aim. Anyway, back to my main topic. When I first started playing Domination in Modern Warfare 2, I kind of thought I was playing defense as sitting right on the point or right behind it, and I'm guessing a lot of other people kind of thought about it the same way. And really, that isn't a very good strategy. You simply die too fast in Modern Warfare. I guess there's sort of this assumption that they don't know where I am, even though I'm probably firing an unscientific weapon. Things like kill cams, and actually playing against a competent team, they'll call you out and they'll figure out where you are and kill you, so that's not very useful. Of course, when I started playing this game I might have played a little more aggressively occasionally, not so much out of planning or trying to, just out of sheer stupidity and not really knowing where things were on the map. But that's not a bad idea either. Push up in front of the point and let them charge at you. Probably try and run past you if they don't know where you are. But again, you run into the same problem. They figure out where you're camping and they'll go ahead and kill you. It doesn't take too long before someone watches the kill cam and puts a nade right on your little camping spot. My teammates would always tell me not to do it, but some people might be a little psychopathic and just run in on the enemy flag and be aggressive and try and mess them up there. And that's not entirely bad either. Just likely to die too many times for it to be really worth it. That was a nice little defending B and A at the same time there with the C4. And the C4 turns out to be a very effective defensive play. The downside is that now I have to run all the way back over to A if I want to get more C4 on it, or die and then run over to A. Each time I die I have to go put it back on there, and it's only good for one go, but still very effective. People don't run sit rep off it enough, so C4 in points, very effective. Really recommend that. Where it really shines is when you're trading points quickly and holding the other team off of a point for 5-10 seconds with the C4 is going to win you games. District, back in COD 4, was a classic example. This map works okay with it on A. Which one was the other one? Oh, Pipeline. Pipeline was the other excellent example I had for C4 and points. Won me quite a few games. Not because they couldn't take the point, but just because it took them a few seconds longer to go ahead and cap one of our 2 points and we could get in and take theirs while they were pushing in on it. Very good strategy, I'd have to say. Now, some of those other ways that I talked about of playing defense work okay, but after a while I see you realize that they just keep respawning, and really playing defense isn't very effective. It's not, at least not very easy, because they just keep coming. And so you want to be more offensive in order to keep them off of your flags rather than just play defensively on your side. You've probably figured out where this is going by now, but I'm talking about a spawn trap. And here we have one set up. This is the way we like to do things on Afghan, is to trap them up at C, and most of them will either come over the cliff or through the pipe, through under the pipelines, trying to get to B. And occasionally they'll head out towards A, but it's quite a trip, and A on this map is relatively easy to secure from either side, and so we can just come back and push them off of it. So in this case, one of the major decisions about where we wanted to spawn trap them was just how far it is from one flag to the other. A to C is quite a ways, and C to B isn't a short run either. We also have to consider how easy it is for them to keep spawning in the same area that they're already in. In the case of C, once they're up there, there's enough space back there that even if someone's up and running around, shotgunning them in the back, they'll keep spawning up by C. And a lot of people won't be able to realize what's going on and just kind of keep running forward to the cliff, jumping off and trying to snipe or something like that. So that's why we keep trying to go for A and B, and even if our green arrow teammate takes C, we pretty much ignore it and let them try to get it back. And we'll push about as hard as we have to try and take A and B instead of C, and avoid taking C until the last minute of the game when we really need another point, just because getting off the C spawn trap can be so nasty. Now you see I've settled in around one of my preferred defensive positions here by the tail of the plane, and if they stick their head all the way over the nose of the cliff, I can go ahead and pick them off there. Normally I have a teammate looking at that from a little further back, but in this case it didn't. So I can go ahead and take those guys, especially if they go ahead and jump off the cliff and make it past anyone who's looking for snipers to come up there. I'll get them as they jump off. I'll also go ahead and look over towards the pipes here too. But this is not a very smart place to be, at least in my book. But this was a team deathmatch. I'm in the center of the map basically, and that's not a good plan. So I have to keep watching my radar, and I'm looking for where my teammates are, not so much where the red dots are, because you know there could be a cold-blooded guy, and I want to really make sure that they don't get out of the spawn trap. So whenever I see a blue or maybe even a green arrow go down in one of the routes out of C, I'll go ahead and move over to try and fill that in. On a lot of maps that might actually involve a submachine gun just for all the running around that you get, but here on Afghan where it's pretty open, an assault rifle like this M16 is a very good choice. And what this really lets us do is control the center of the map. This helps us both offensively and defensively. In terms of defensively, it lets my teammates know that they don't have to spend a lot of time being really cautious until they get up to the front line and worry about people coming in behind them, shooting them in the back or whatnot. So that saves them time in moving forward and a lot of worry about anybody just sneaking up and surprising them. Offensively, it lets them know that they can go ahead and sneak in behind the enemy lines, get in behind them, and it's not a big problem if one of them does happen to get by them. Go in and really cause some chaos, not move the spawn quite, but get really aggressive in their faces and make it hard for them to get out of their spawn. The other nice thing about spawn trapping the team at C is that if you get some nice air support up, like a chopper gunner or AC-130, all you have to do to get them out in the open is push them out of that cave. It's not very big, you can see through most of it, and if you launch some stuns in there, you'll know for sure if anybody's in there or not, and go ahead and push them out and leave them to be cleaned up by the air support. I almost think that I should blow up the minimap more often so you can see how all the little blue arrows go about their business. It's nice to see them all looking in the same direction most of the time. A good indication of a team that really knows what's going on. Also, red dot shows up somewhere it shouldn't. You'll see 3 or 4 look at it, or a point gets called out by the announcer as being taken. Nice AT4 there. And you'll just see 3 or 4 blue arrows. I'll turn and look at it and say no. It's really funny to watch. But by far the most important thing to see on the minimap is just how they're spread out. As you can see now, locking in that C spawn, and you know, so I can tell there's not a guy over here by B. That spot right in front of me between the 2 rocks, the choke point there is an excellent place for a sentry gun. I'm running Predator this game for some reason. Normally I would run sentry gun in Afghan, and that is the best place on this map for a sentry gun. But anyway, back to the minimap. That's why radar jammers are so annoying. Not because I can't tell where the red dots are, but I can deal with that. You know, you got cold-blooded and silenced guys all the time. That's nothing new. It's that I can't tell where my teammates are, and it seriously really messes me up. There's so many callouts that need to be made at that point to say, hey, is anybody covering, in this case, the AA guns back behind the cave? And the answer is no. So I wouldn't know. You see people already headed back to A to go try and deal with it. Died. I had the C4 on it again, but that's just an example of using where your teammates are, in this case aren't, to know what you need to go ahead and be doing. At any rate, game's coming to an end here, and that will just about wrap things up. I focused on some what I thought were kind of general tactics for the Call of Duty series, and maybe even more first-person shooters than that on this game, even if Modern Warfare 2 is kind of coming to a slow end here with Black Ops in only a few weeks. I thought it'd be interesting to do that, and pretty good game. So again, hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.
UAV online.